Hello and welcome to the Aposta-Sea, the place where you can find recommendations of excellent X-Cult content in a sea of media. Today, I'm happy to bring to you 3 recommendations of content creators. Our first highlighted creator comes from TikTok. As you may know, I first got into XJW activism by posting to TikTok. While I'm pretty busy making the longer stuff here, I still like to go back to my roots and post the occasional 60-second video. The creator I would like to highlight is a former member of the LDS Church. When Chad first posted on his channel Bizarro Ward, I thought, this guy is right up my alley. He's made many an excellent observation of the similarities of high control groups such as Jehovah's Witnesses, Scientology, and the Seventh-day Adventists, in addition to his own former religion. He gets it, that we all share a common experience that only comes from being in what many describe as a cult. Here's a quick example.
We have spent hours discussing the whole same-sex topic on campus.
I was thinking, as an example, a homosexual.
We have to be careful that love and empathy do not get interpreted as condoning and advocacy.
Will he change? Will he adjust? It'll be up to him. But to enjoy life eternal, all must learn to walk in Jehovah's righteous ways.
To stay in harmony with the Lord's anointed.
Jehovah will not lower his standard to accommodate us.
Christ never once said to anyone, because I love you, you are exempt from keeping my commandments.
We have to come up to Jehovah's standard.
Students who are confused about what so much recent flag waving and parade holding on this issue means.
See, Jehovah is a God not of disorder.
This kind of confusion and conflict ought not to be.
Some will show that they refuse to practice righteousness. Justly, they will lose life in the new world.
So we can see here clearly that these 2 religions do not tolerate the LGBTQ plus community, and it's very apparent that they have similar views in such.
I'd like to hear a little more musket fire.
And the sinner will be cursed
from the temple of learning.
All right, let's hear a little bit from Chad himself. This is the first episode, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Here's one of my favorite sitcom episodes of all time, the Bizarro World Seinfeld episode. The link to my faith crisis? Here we go. I was raised Mormon and never had any serious doubts, but I did occasionally have little questions that would arise and cause me some dissonance. They were easy to squelch, though, because I knew we were the only true church on the earth, and especially because we had things like prophets, the apostles, and personal revelation. Back to the episode. Jerry and his friends have this weird experience where they meet their kind of parallel universe doppelgangers. It's a funny but weird and dissonant moment in the show, and it was a weird and dissonant moment in my life when I met some parallel universe doppelgangers to the Mormon Church. I probably spent more of my faith crisis studying other churches than I did my own, and weirdly, I found that I was studying my own. Through that experience, I granted myself the personal authority to say,
I gotta go.
So, to Chad, I say, good stuff. How do we get out of here? All right. Now, we are on to recommendation number 2. For my second recommendation, we go back yet again to TikTok, to someone who is formerly of the Amish, as she describes from Amish to being a life coach. So I must admit that I didn't know a whole heck of a lot about the Amish, and it is refreshing to find out about this this religious group, which is surprisingly more stringent than I thought, just from what I have seen in the media, in movies and TV shows. Let's see if we can find a quick example of some of her content. that will give an idea of what life was like for her then and what it's like for her now. Okay, hopefully YouTube will not ding me for that little bit of music. But as you can see, she led a very simple life that she was unhappy in. And now she's happy and she gets to direct her own life. And that is something that all of us can understand, no matter what group you come from. We are told to live a certain way. And when you leave that group, you come to find out how much better life is. This sounds very familiar, being basically punished for trying to communicate with someone that you're not supposed to in a congregation, even though it's family. This part also feels familiar, being basically threatened with destruction and losing out on life because you're not following the rules. And how many people have had to compromise what in their heart they feel is right in order to please a congregation or some elders? And sometimes you find that there's just something wrong and you just can't quite put your finger on it, but you know it's not right. So I recommend checking out Nora Bontrager. Sure, I hope I'm saying that correct. On TikTok. And I'm not logged in, so that's why it says follow here, because I just didn't bother to log in. This is just a guest account on my computer. So for my third recommendation, this isn't found on TikTok or YouTube. It's actually found on Spotify. It's for your ears, not your eyes. This person is an ex-Jehovah's Witness, in a sense. They're actually a PMO. So for their own, they have to keep their stuff anonymous. So it's strictly in audio format. PMO, of course, means physically in, mentally out. This person is actively working behind the scenes to facilitate change the system. And I look forward to working with them in the future. So my recommendation is Babble On The Great. This is a podcast that is shared by three activists. XJW Caleb, which he can be found on YouTube as well. by Dax the Scholar, and the third person is My Little Pimo, which is who I've been describing as the Pimo. So let's see if we can get a little taste of Babble on the Great.
Hello and welcome to Babble on the Great, the podcast where we take a look at Watchtower's weirdest, greatest, and the weirdest teachings. We're just gonna say weirdest twice because I always forget the second thing that I say, and it's just a bother. Let's just keep right on. I am XJW Caleb, and I am also joined by Dax and
Hello.
Peems. How are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
I am kind of tired.
Not bad.
Yeah, I think we're all tired, right? A little bit.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
we're exhausted.
It's a Saturday
Exhausted.
night.
Also-
everybody.
Even my pets are exhausted.
Yep. They're looking at they just keep walking around the house looking at us like, are you going to go to bed yet? Are you going to bed? When are you going to bed?
We're not. We're recording a podcast
Exactly.
for one listener, Mark.
Mark!
That is what we are
The
doing
legendary
today.
Mark.
Here's the thing.
Oh, Mark,
regardless
I
of how
really love you,
exhausted
Mark.
we are, we need to be there for the GOAT, our MVP, Mark.
Exactly, and there is no rest for the wicked, and proof of that is the news segment. Let's jump into the news with Peems. Peems, what's going on in the JW world this week, or however recent time works?
So the news is going to be heavily tied up in the 2022 governing body update number 3. So I think we're going to mostly cover it in there. But spoiler alert, it is mostly about Ukraine.
Well, I think that soon you'll have more than one listener. I'm sure Mark enjoys your content, but I'm hoping that you'll have many more people listening to your fun and informative podcasts, My Little Pimo, XJW Caleb, and Dax the Scholar. And that will be it for this inaugural episode of... Whoops, how do I get out of here? I am still learning how to do things. Of the Aposta-Sea. So please join me next time. I'm still working out the kinks as to when that's going to be. So a week, 2 weeks, something in that, something of that nature. And I will catch you next time. So have a great day. Bye for now.